Starting recording. Okay, no recording. So 11 in the call. Why 11? 9 जण मात्र आहे ना. Okay. So can everybody mute the microphone? Okay. Good morning, everyone. Today we are in this virtual class, a virtual debate for the student-led seminar. The topic for the student-led seminar is competitiveness and adaptation of new technology. We'll start with our introductions first. Please turn on your microphone and introduce yourself, and then you turn off the microphone. Ranjan, are you there? Introduce yourself.
Yes, sir.
Your ID.
My UN ID is 18406529.
Okay, you can mute yourself then. Sina, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Your UN ID.
My UN ID is 18406530.
Okay, you can mute yourself. Puravi.
Sir, my UN ID is 18406527.
Okay, you can mute yourself now. Urza.
Good morning, sir. My UN ID is 1742150.
Okay. Biusit.
Present, sir. My UN ID is
Okay.
1841
Your UN ID.
8770.
Okay. Anmol.
Good morning, everyone. My university ID is 18408442. Thank you.
Hari. Hari. Unmute yourself. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. My UN ID is 18413622.
Okay. If possible, make yourself audible. I think because of network or your voice is sounding too low. Okay. Sorry. Christy. Christy is there.
Yes, sir. My UN ID is 18418328.
Okay. Niranjan. Niranjan, sorry.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. My university ID is 18418329.
Okay. So we can start the debate. I want to tell you something. Okay. So if you are talking, please unmute yourself and talk. And after you have your arguments presented, your views presented, then mute yourself. Okay, so that it will be easier for me to know who is talking, and also it will be easier for the person who is speaking. Okay, so we can start the debate.
Good morning, everyone. So the topic for today we have earlier mentioned is competitiveness and adaptation of new technology. So
Is it
foremost,
Anmol?
yes, sir. This is Anmol. So foremost, it is very important to know about competitiveness and technology. To begin with, I would like to talk about competitiveness. Competitiveness is a key concept in a world in which market focus forces determine economic outcomes. Competitiveness determines the ability to conquer new markets, to outplay other actors in the market, to attract investment, and to grow. This is key for policymakers who need to understand how competitive they are in relative to others and how their competitive position evolves over time. Fagerberg and Scrollick 2017. And in other words, the Diamond Model Porter 1990 has been recognized as an important development in the study of international competitiveness, as it opened the discussion on the determinants and indicators of international competitiveness. As such, it has inspired the creation of two leading indices of country competitiveness, that is the World Competitiveness Rankings by International Institute for Management Development and the Global Competitiveness Index by the World Economic Forum, or in short known as WEF. And technology adaptation is the basic means by which companies, industries, and countries can foster their competitive capabilities and increase their competitive advantage. Wang and others 2007. Porter 1985, in his analysis of competitive advantage, concludes that technology is an important competitive factor in the value-adding side of firms' business. Fagerberg 1987 also provides strong evidence of major contribution of developing national policy from a technological perspective to the growth of a nation as well as to that of his firms. Would anyone like to add more on competitiveness and adaptation and its introduction? Thank you.
I would like to add on to what Anmol just briefed us about. Competitiveness.
This is Ranjan.
Yes, sir, this is Ranjan.
Okay.
So to define competitiveness, according to PELC 2014, it is the choice of a working method used to pursue a strategy for achieving exceptional goals and surpassing competitors. In simpler terms, competitiveness is the achievement of customer preference through favorable quality-price ratio of production, ensuring comparative profitability. Competitiveness is essential for an organization in this era, or in every era, because it is this product. It helps the organization to produce goods or service of equal value at a lower price or in a more desirable fashion. In fact, I highly agree with Anmol's point of technology, and technological efforts are a proven case for organization to achieve competitiveness. I'd like to give an example of Amazon here, which has invested around 5.5 billion US dollars in the single quarter of 2017. This investment has prompted Amazon to develop this investment has prompted Amazon to develop Amazon Alexa with new and improved features, but at the same time, Amazon has also reduced a significant cost to about 45%. Wall Street Journal estimates that when this integration of technology into Amazon Alexa will help Amazon Alexa to further dominate the voice activated speaker market by 5-folds. And I'd also like to define what disruptive technologies are, because Yu and Hang 2010 believes that disruptive technologies are what forms the organizational strategy, the development and integration of innovative processes. Christensen and others 2013 defined disruptive technologies as those capable of creating new market or value network while largely responsible for displacing one's leading products or services or even a firm at a large. Froman also predicted the impact of technology in creating business opportunities. He explicitly signified the technological orientation, which is using technology as an instrument for competitiveness for a company. Porter vouches this survey result presented by Froman, implicating on the technological benefits on competitiveness. Anyone would like to add on it?
Yes.
I would like to add. So many people.
Yes. I think the.
Okay, you guys can start it.
Okay, I'd like to, and this is Mini Ranjan. I'd like to add up to what Anmol said. Uh, Obradovich in 2015 in the paper The Role of Technology Strategy in Competitiveness Increasing has stated that technological change is one of the main generators of competition. It plays the most important role in changing the structure of existing and creation of new industries. In addition, technological changes equate company since they may reduce the competitive advantage of well-positioned enterprises and point it to other companies. Many large companies have achieved their today's success due to the fact that they were able to take advantage of technological change. Technological change are one of the most important factors that can change the rules of the competition. Technological enterprises strategy is an integral part of its global development strategy and is defined as a long-term commitment of the company to the place and role of technology in business. The procedures of technology strategy forming have been studied in this research through strategy analysis and definition of strategy. Definition of technology strategy. Research has shown that forming the basic of technological strategy should consist of a set of long-term goals of a company, the overall potential of the company, as well as environment demands fulfillment. It has been concluded that in this paper it has been concluded that the strategy of technology is actually the company's commitment to become a pioneer or the one of the quickly forms alliances or partnerships in the branch. Strategy of technology is competitive advantage achieving through differentiation and low cost of production. It also establishes the basic ways of acquiring and using technology, while balancing optimization can be achieved by allocating resources, for example, which is capital, human resources, technology, raw materials, which ultimately leads for a long time stability of the company. Thank you.
I'd like to give an example of the World Bank Group for the competitiveness and technology, all in all. Well-functioning product markets are vital to economy-wide efforts to spur growth, productivity, and job creation. Their policy and institutional underpinnings include open trade regimes, competitive markets, favorable investment climates, and national innovation capacities. These facilitate integration with global value chains, increase investment volumes and returns, lower business costs, and encourage business formation. The World Bank Group work on competitiveness focuses on four areas: firms, entrepreneurship and innovation, markets and technology, investment and competition, and business regulations. They work with countries to help strengthen innovation policies, strategies, and financing. The team also helps promote entrepreneurship and small business development with the help of technology. They also support business environment reforms as well as investment policies.
I'd like to add on to what Urja just said and what Niranjan just said, because discussing about how technology prompts a competitiveness, I think it is also important to discuss what mega trends are, because these are highly linked with disruptive technologies and any technologies as such. Uh, Citing KMPG report 2013, mega trends are global, sustained, and macroeconomic forces of development that impacts businesses, economy, society, cultures, and personal lives. Cox 2012 stated that megatrends define what a particular industry will look like in a decade or two. These analyses are highly important because it is the basis from which our organization can achieve competitiveness. Some of the major top five mega trends for 2025 has been studied by Frost and Sullivan. I'd like to brief on them. First is N11. N11 refers to the shift of economic power from BRIC countries to nations such as Bangladesh, Pakistan, Vietnam, Egypt, South Korea, Nigeria, Philippines, Iran, and Indonesia. Furthermore, World Bank states that these countries have been highly developing their ease of doing business index, thus promoting a conducive business environment, and they suggest that it would be beneficial for the organizations to move into such countries. The second is cloud computing. Cloud computing is famous for cloud storage, which provides accessibility and unlimited data space. The third is influence of computer stimulation in several aspects, mostly in entertainment, but also in health and education. The fourth is artificial intelligence, which is also related to the third point. Artificial intelligence has uh, extended to several fields from entertainment to even as delicate matter as health, and the integration of artificial intelligence by businesses can create a huge competitive advantage. Like for example, Walmart, they analyze 2.5 petabytes of data per hour with the help of artificial intelligence. These data are created by their customers as a form of digital footprint, and the analysis of these digital footprints help them to understand what these cost help them to predict their buying behavior. The fifth is rise in the renewable energy and renewable energy. The KMPG report 2013 states that about 36% of total energy will be generated from renewable sources by 2020, and it has also stated that several several organizations and countries will move towards the concept of the idea of zero concept, which encourages organizations to emit as less greenhouse gases as possible, preferably zero emission.
Earlier, Ranjan talked something about disruptive technology. I would like to add more details on that and provide three examples on that. The term disruptive technology and disruptive innovations were defined and popularized by Clayton Christensen and Joseph Bauer. Bauer and Christensen 1995, Christensen 2003, Christensen and Bauer 1996. So what is disruptive technology? The current business environment is characterized by the rapid development of disruptive technology products, HOP and others 2018, which generate discontinuous innovation chain, Sandstorm and others 2014, and impact the established technology markets and consumers. Disruptive technology products provide new functionality and render the established technology obsolete. Linton 2002, Sandstorm and others 2014, since they destroy the value of the existing technical competence. Daniels 2004. At the same time, new technologies are quickly replaced in the race for innovation. Bauer and Christensen asserted that disruptive technologies are those that cause an upheaval in the existing market structure and dominant forms. Christensen and Bauer 1996. I would like to go more on the elements of disruptive innovation as well. Disruptive innovation often start out weak. They tend to have low reliability and questionable value in the early stage, and it is not clear whether this technology will ever become reliable enough to be commercialized and what will be the main target market. Christensen and others 2004. The adoption path of disruptive innovation is subject to serendipity, since disruptive technology often finds acceptance and applications in industries very far from the domain where they were created. Krotov and Junglas 2008. Initially, these technologies operate at the margins, but eventually they displace the conventional technologies. Frequently, the disruptive technology is cheaper, simpler, more convenient, and more reliable than the dominant one, and includes features that current customers do not really care about. Christensen 1997. I'd like to provide few more examples on what disruptive technology. The long wakes are created by technological disruptions. Computer 1939, Freeman and others 1982, Paris 2002. These large-scale disruptions have been identified as the Industrial Revolution, steam engines, steel era, mass production, and information and communication technologies, ICTs, Paris 2000. Alternatively, they have been identified as water power, steam power, electrification, motorization, and computerization. Freeman and Lockhart 2001. At the heart of each stage is a single dominant technology. For instance, the Carnegie Bessemer steel plant opened in Pittsburgh in 1875. The Model T was introduced by Ford in 1908, and the microprocessor was introduced in 1971. Paris 2002. Disruptive technologies are closely tied to innovation. Firms that can create and exploit emerging technologies capturing or creating markets can add significant value to their bottom line. Christensen and others 2013, Naxi and Toff 2000. Another example is the blockchain. Blockchain is an emerging and potentially disruptive technology that business scholars have been frequently investigating. The first and most famous blockchain application is Bitcoin. Its anonymous inventor Satoshi Nakamoto released it in 2009 during the global financial crisis. Their goal was to create a new kind of digital currency that was decentralized and remove the control of governments, banks, and other traditional financial institutions. Nakamoto 2009. Over the past decade, the emergence of blockchain has sparked myriad initiatives to reimagine and, in some cases, begin to disrupt financial systems through cryptocurrencies. These types of changes can have far-reaching effects on companies and industries because they disrupt information systems and social relations. Sala and others 2019. Blockchain enthusiasts claim that the technology will have a significant effect on precisely this process and a host of others such as AI and Internet of Things. Khan and Sala 2018. Another example is Skype, which is an integration of voice over Internet protocol and peer-to-peer. Skype represents one of the first and most successful efforts at fusing together two distinctly different technological backgrounds. The founders of Skype had introduced a P2P, peer-to-peer based voice over internet protocol software that would provide audio quality equivalent to conventional phone lines. In the case of Skype, all these features were integrated in an attempt to provide impeccable quality of the voice service, along with various possibilities of value-added packets at the lowest cost possible. While Kodama 1992 differentiates between a breakthrough and a fusion approach to technology strategy, Skype is clearly a representative of a fusion disruptive technology involving two breakthrough technologies. Thank you.
I would like to add something else on disruptive technology. Disruptive technology is one that replaces an established technology and shakes up the industry or group groundbreaking product that creates a completely new industry. According to a Harvard School professor, Clinton M. Christen coined the term disruptive technology in 1997. Uh, the innovator dilemma separates a new technology into two characteristics, sustaining and disruptive. Sustaining technology relies on incremental improvement to an already established technology, whereas disruptive technology lacks refinement, often has performance problem because it is new, applied to limited audience, and uh, may not have yet a proven practical application. Here are some examples of disruptive technology. The personal computers displaced the typewriter and forever changed the way we worked and communicate. Similarly, cell phone made it possible for people to call us anywhere and disrupt the telecom industry. Talking about smartphones, largely replaced cell phones and pads and became the available app and disrupted pocket cameras, 3D players, calculators, GPS devices, etc. So, yeah.
What makes a
Yes, yes,
technology or innovation disruptive is a point of contention. Disruptive innovation refers to a technology whose application significantly affects the way a market or industry functions. An example of modern disruptive innovation is the internet, which significantly altered the way companies did business and which negatively impacted companies that were unwilling to adapt it. Another classic example of the disruptive innovation of the internet being unleashed was the restructuring the book selling industry. The book selling chains lost out to Amazon because it could display its inventory without having to own a physical store in every town and then ship the book to the buyer's home. But in contrast, the Model T car is not considered disruptive because it was an improvement on existing technology and it wasn't widely adopted upon its release. The auto industry didn't take off until mass production brought prices down, moving the entire transportation system from hooves to wheels. In that sense, the system of mass production does not meet the criteria for disruptive innovation.
I'd like to give more emphasis on the disruptive technology. The definition provided by TeamSpeak 2019 is the disruptive technology is an innovation that significantly alters the way that consumers, industries, or businesses operate. Or disruptive technology shapes away the systems or habits it replaces because it has attributes that are recognizably superior. Recent disruptive technology examples are e-commerce, online news sites, ride-sharing apps, and GPS systems. Uh, uh, to uh, to give out other examples, in their own times, the automobile, electricity service, and television were disruptive technology. Agreeing with what Anmol said, Clayton Christensen popularized the idea of disruptive technology in The Innovator's Dilemma, which was published in 1997. It has since become a buzzword in startup businesses that seek to create a product with mass appeal. With a startup with limited resources can aim at technology disruption by inventing an entirely new way of getting something done. Established companies tend to focus on what they do best and pursue incremental improvements rather than revolutionary changes. They cater to their largest and most demanding customers. So the key takeaways from this paper written by Christensen are a disruptive technology supersedes an older process, product, or habit. It usually has superior attributes that are immediately obvious, at least to early adopters. Upstarts rather than established companies are the usual source of disruptive technology. This provides an opening for disruptive businesses to target overlooked customer segments and gain an industry presence. Established companies often lack the flexibility to adapt quickly to new threats. That allows disruptors to move upstream over time and cannibalize more customer segments. Disruptive technologies are difficult to prepare for because they can appear suddenly. So the potential of disruptive technologies are the risk-taking companies may recognize the potential of disruptive technology in their own operations and target new market that can incorporate it into their business process. These are the innovators of the technology adoption life cycle. Other companies may take a more risk-averse position and adopt an innovation only after seeing how it performs for others. So companies that fail to account for the effect of disruptive technology may find themselves losing market share to competitors that have discovered ways to integrate the technology. So again, agreeing with what Anmol gave the example of blockchain. Uh, Blockchain, the technology behind Bitcoin, is a decentralized distributed ledger that records transactions between two parties. It moves transactions from a centralized server-based system to a transparent cryptographic network. The technology uses peer-to-peer consensus to record and verify transactions, removing the need for manual verifications. So yeah, this was what I have to say for disruptive technology.
The disruptive कोई बोल रहे हो ना?
No, you can
Hello?
speak.
The disruptive technology in an innovation that significantly alters the way that consumers, industries, or business operate. A disruptive technology sweeps away the system or habit it replaces because it has attributes that are recognizably superior. Recent disruptive technologies include example of e-commerce, online news site, ride-sharing apps, and GPS system. In their own time, the automobiles, electricity service, and the televisions are the disruptive technology. And in 1997, the Clayton Christensen popularized the idea of disruptive technology in the innovator's dilemma.
I'd like to add on to what Niranjan just said, because I highly agree that disruptive technologies extremely destabilizes the market equilibrium, and it can render existing practices, existing products or services obsolete. In fact, it is these disruptive technologies and many other technologies which has decreased the average period of sustaining competitiveness, because it gives rise to a very dynamic business environment. And to survive in this dynamic business environment, Wang 2018 finds that it is necessary for an organization to rely on their internal capabilities to either differentiate or achieve cost leadership. cost leadership and innovations will always be an essential factor for these for achieving these benefits. Moreover, I'd also like to point out that since the market is highly dynamic, highly dynamic in nature. This 2016 emphasizes on the necessity of strategic agility in achieving and maintaining competitive advantage in the dynamic market, which corroborates with the theory of dynamic capabilities. The theory is an extension of the conventional resource-based view, associating a sustainable competitive advantage to the capability of an organization to adapt either by reconfiguring or renewing the resources consistent with the changes in the external environment. Smith and Prater 2008, Thies 2012. In other words, the heterogeneity and immobility proposed by the resource-based view, while significant, is inadequate in the present dynamic market for competitiveness, Parvan 2017. Despite in its infancy, the concept of dynamic capabilities view indicates a volatility in the present market prompted by several factors, mostly the disruptive technologies and megatrends, and requires an organization to innovatively adapt with existing resources and or adopt new ones. Bresnik 2014. It is, in simpler terms, the development and commercialization of any innovative initiatives to stimulate cost leadership or differentiation or focus strategies is necessary, but at the same time, an organization should be wary of the external changes going on, particularly technology, because a lot of discussion has already been done indicating the importance of technology in creating competitiveness, and therefore the notion of dynamic capabilities view, it expresses how an organization needs to operate in a dynamic market, highly concentrating on these technologies. In fact, Claudia 2013 stated that even though an organization achieves generic strategies, either cost leadership or differentiation, it will never remain static in this volatile market because the dynamic capabilities are way too influential, and therefore Claudia 2013 associates the creates a relationship between these dynamic capabilities view and Porter's generic strategies.
Does anyone want to add on more disruptive technology?
Uh,
Well,
Otherwise, I've set out
Anmol,
some.
no.
I have something
Yes,
like
please. Okay,
in
you can speak.
software.
Yeah.
In software field, the scene is very different and dynamic. Over the last 20 years, systematic disruptive innovation software products have been developed, tested, and implemented around the world on a large scale. All this rate and successful growth is due to agile methodology, Scrum, Kanban, Lean, startups, XP, continuously deployment, etc. All this helps companies to develop their high quality products with minimum risks in a short period of time to get feedback and move further according to customers' need and preference. Alight really helps to catch the opportunity fast and deliver it to the market faster than others. Thank you.
Christy.
Does anyone want to add more?
Hello.
Yeah, I think I'll add some few points on disruptive.
Uh,
Hey, Hari, you can go on, please, Hari.
okay. Okay, can you read it? Okay. Like I fully agree with my friends and about the district technology. I would like to add up something about the district technology. A district technology is one
Hari,
that
if you can raise your voice.
my voice, sir.
Audible.
Okay, sir. Like, are
Okay,
you listening?
it's okay now.
Okay, acoustic technology is one that displays and establishes technology and take up the industry or groundbreaking products that creates a completely new industry. According to the Harvard Business School professor Carlton, coined the term discrete technology in his 1997 best-selling book, The Innovators Dilemma. A new technology into two categories, sustaining and discrete. Sustaining technology relies on incremental improvements to an already established technology, and discrete technology lack refinement, often has performance problems because it is new, appeals to a limited audience, and may not yet have a proven practice applications. Like anyone to add? Hello, 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 hello.
Yes, Hari.
Yes,
We
Hari.
got your
Yeah.
point. You can unmute yourself. They mute yourself if it's done.
Yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
I think Bhushit was trying to say something.
Oh, yeah. So, the term disruptive innovation is misleading when it is used to refer to a product or service at a fixed point rather than the evolution of the product or service over time. The first mini computers was disruptive not merely because they were low end starts when they appeared on the screen, nor because they were later heralded as superior to mainframe in many markets. They were disrupted by virtue of the path they followed by the fring to mainstream. Most every innovation, disruptive or not, begins with a small scale experiment. Disruptive tends to focus on getting the business model rather than merely the product just right. When they succeed, the movement from the fringe, the low end of the market or new market, to the mainstream enrolls the first incumbents' market shares and then their profitability. This process can take time and incubate can get quite creative and in defense of this established franchise. For example, more than 50 years after the first discount departmental store was opened, mainstream retail companies still operated their traditional department stores format complete suspension. If it comes to all, it may take decades because the incremental profit and staying with the old model for 1 year trumps profit to ride as asset in one stock. So yeah, I think this is it on my part.
I think we can conclude the term disruptive technology. It was very good and precise argument from all of you. Apart from disruptive technology, I would like to present some examples of technological
Uh,
trends.
uh,
Just
Puravi,
if anyone wants to
so
add.
were you trying to? Hello,
Yes, sir. I was trying
hello,
to.
Puravi, you
Hello.
want to add?
Yeah, I was trying to add some example of disruptive technology. So there are some examples of disruptive technology and innovation that are the rays of intelligent automation. In 2017, worldwide spending on cognitive system, which include both cognitive applications and software platform, will increase at a compound annual growth rate of 55. With these systems in places, IT department will be able to input information from which the system can learn and implement intelligently and efficiently. At the end, the idea is to replace all manual unnecessary task job that can be automated and focus more on creative strategic part. And going to autonomous vehicles, beyond the latest electric cars, the hybrid models, there were some new concept cars. For example, autonomous vehicles where interior design of the cars is based on the idea of having an office inside the car. The investment is in autonomous vehicle R&D was huge in 2016, and not just for Google and Tesla. Most of the large automotive group and developing prototype of this next generation car. In the meantime, taxi companies such as Uber doesn't want to miss this opportunity and also work on self-driving taxis safety, while still a concern, did not slow development as much as expected. So in 2019, we might see some developments in what we will be the one of the biggest disruptive potential technology in logistic industries.
Oh. Okay, Anmol, you were saying something.
Yeah, I was trying to talk about technological trends. I would like to present some examples of new innovation with firms where technological companies triggered a paradigm shift by impacting industries. First is Apple for changing music and consumer electronics, Uber for changing the taxi business, Airbnb for changing the accommodation industry, Amazon for changing retailing, and there are some technology companies creating new markets or industries as well. Google, which search for a much better online experience, changing the advertising world with AdWords, impacting the mobile car utility industries. Facebook for establishing the social network market, WhatsApp for establishing the personal communications market, and Steam for establishing the online market for licensing games. And another example is of Nintendo. Pokemon Go is a world-class example of how Nintendo became relevant again by simply reinventing itself through a modern game that activated gamers of all ages and genders. Pokemon Go incorporates virtual reality elements, gamification, and commerce at scale in a way that has never been done with such precision. According to Christopher Jones from LSEO.com, he believes the reason for the success was well-executed timing. And talking about GoPro, GoPro effectively took an old product that everyone has, repurposed it, and made a fortune. GoPro is nothing but a good quality camera. However, they managed to make it attractive, target a large niche of passionate customers, and create a new category for themselves. The beauty behind this brand is targeting a group of people who are tight knit and large enough to build a sizable business. And another example is of Netflix. As one of the cornerstones of the home entertainment industry, brick and mortar DVD rental stores seemed likely they would be around forever. Then along came Netflix. Not only did the brand reinvent the delivery of DVDs, but they transformed movie rental altogether with streaming service. The brand's success has come from not just embracing change, but seeing it as an opportunity for innovation as well. And another one is P&G, or better known as Procter and Gamble as well. This company is best known for its household cleaning products such as the laundry detergent Tide, which spent nearly $2 billion annually on research and development, at least double what its competitors spend. P&G uses its research budget to study its consumer base intensely to understand not only what products would improve their lives, but how can they access this product with least possible friction. P&G was one of the first adopters of Amazon's dash button system, which enables customers to reorder products with a simple push of a button. When a consumer notices he or she is low on Tide pods, he can simply press the dash button attached to his or her washing machine to get a new shipment within a couple days from Amazon, where no computers or credit cards are required. Thanks to their early integration, P&G products account for about a third of all Amazon Dash orders, which are placed approximately 4 times a minute. This is a huge win for P&G in terms of brand loyalty. Another product line that uses Dash Cottonelle toilet paper found that customers double their bed tissue budget with the brand in the post-Dash era. By taking an early lead with technologies like Dash, P&G is proving that while it may be based around household staples, it understands how to effectively innovate and make use of technology. And last but not least, I would like to talk about AR, or in other form known as augmented reality. AR is one of the key nine enabling technologies that will support the Industry 4.0 program, PLK 2014. Indeed, AR is expected to open a wide range of new opportunities in the manufacturing sector. However, in the near future, also consumer demand is likely to grow. Accordingly, while the global AR market was valued at 11.14 US billion in 2018, it is expected to reach 60.55 billion US dollars by 2023, where with an annual growth rate of 40.29% during the 5-year forecast, March 2019. The key success factor for the growth of AR in the consumer market is related to the increased use of smartphones, tablets, and other devices for the implementation of AR. Art and Schmalstick 2011, in particular, head-mounted displays, or in short form known as HMDs, are the most promising solutions deemed to boost the growth of AR market. Kiyokawa 2012. In fact, major companies such as Microsoft Corporation, Magic Leap Inc., and Dakiri LLC have developed their own head-mounted displays, micro HoloLens, 2019, Magic Leap 2019, Docker Smart Glasses 2019, Epson Mobilier 2019, providing to believe in their market potential. Thank you.
I'd like to add on what Anmol just said. Is someone speaking? Okay. I'd like to add on what Anmol just said, because the prime example of disruptive technology is obviously Netflix, because Netflix disrupted an entire DVD rental services. So much so that several scholars, according to Perry 2015, termed this effect as the Netflix effect, and which has also been integrated to many fields. For example, psychotherapies. Psychotherapies usually get obstructed due to the perceived stigma and accessibility, which has been eradicated by the use of disruptive technology in the form of an app called BetterHelp. BetterHelp allows an online psychotherapy with an online psychotherapy to a large range of people for an average cost of $60 per month. I'm sorry, per session. Moreover, this technology has created this BetterHelp app has been categorized as a comparable replacement to in-person face-to-face therapies and face-to-face therapies. I'd like to also talk about the model presented by Parasuraman and Grewal 2000, which links the organization with customers. The bottom of the if Sir permits, I'd like to share the model.
Yes, you can. Ranjan, go ahead.
So can you see?
Yes, we can see it now.
This model was presented by Parasuraman in 2000, and Parasuraman and Grewal again in 2000, revised by them. The model elaborates on the link between the organization and customers, where the employees and companies are required to integrate technology in their daily application, so that a easier link between them and their customers can be created. If a company is not wary about the changes in the technology of any kind, it creates a huge distance between the customers and the firm. However, with the integration of technology, the model states that it becomes easier to reach the customer, to know more about them, and to know more about them, and to increase the value of the offering of the company's offering. They also claim that competitive advantage from new technology is the understanding of the impacts that these technologies have in the existing market structure, and how these can change. These can be effectively used for. These can effectively change the dynamics of competitiveness. Two implications of the pyramid model has also been stated by several scholars. The integration of technology. Researchers find that the integration of technology is comparatively more easier for the new small and mid-sized enterprises or startups, because of the flexibility, whereas for the incumbents it is significantly difficult to adopt these developing technology, because due to their stern structure and already established consumer base. Waltz 2002 find that the adoption or adaptation of new technologies by incumbents can significantly backfire them, because of the resistance in consumers, and 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 this has led to several hesitations, which has led many small new and small mid-sized enterprises and even startups like almost said Uber, Spotify, Airbnb to disrupt the market using the technologies.
Thank you, Ranjan. As you started off talking about mega trends, uh, I've been through a paper published by Forbes, which was written by Bernard Marr in 2018, and the name of the paper is Nine Technology Mega Trends That Will Change the World in 2018. It was as speculated earlier, uh, and starting off with the definition, megatrends are global, sustained, and macroeconomic forces of development that impact business, economy, society, culture, and personal lives, thereby defining our future world and its increasing pace of change. Megatrends have different meanings and impacts for different industries, companies, and individuals. Analysis of these megatrends and their implications forms an important component of a company's future strategy, development and innovation processes, and design and technology planning. Okay, and, one of the major mega trends that is included in this paper is the increasing datafication of our lives. Uh, from chatting to friends in a messaging app or buying a coffee to tapping in and out with an Oyster card or
Mm.
streaming music. Today, almost
Sorry,
everything we do.
sorry, sorry. Hello. Can others mute so that we can listen to Niranjan?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Uh, okay, I like to continue. From chatting to friends in a messaging app or buying a coffee to tapping in and out with an Oyster card or streaming music, today almost everything we do leaves a trail of data breadcrumbs. And this increasing datafication of our world has led to an unprecedented explosion in data. Just in average minute, Facebook receives 900,000 logins, more than 450,000 tweets are posted, and 156 million emails and 15 million texts are sent. With numbers like that, it's no wonder we're essentially doubling the amount of data created in the world roughly every 2 years. Moving on to another trend, the Internet of Things, IoT, and how everyday devices are becoming more smart. The IoT, the Internet of Things, which encompasses smart connected products like smartphones and smartwatches. It is a major contributing factor in this exponential increase in data. That's because all these smart devices are constantly gathering data, connecting to other devices, and sharing that data, all without human intervention. Uh, your Fitbit synchronizing data to your phone, for instance. This was an example. Pretty much anything can be made smart these days. Our cars are becoming increasingly connected. By 2020, it was speculated in 2018 that a quarter of a billion cars will be hooked up to the internet. For our homes, there are obvious smart products like TVs and less obvious ones like yoga mats that track your downward dog. And of course, many of us have voice enabled personal assistants like Alexa, another example of an IoT device. That's already a lot of devices, but the IoT, Internet of Things, is just getting started. IHS has predicted that there will be 75 billion connected devices by 2020. 2020, yeah. And the talking about the third trend, exponential growth in computing power is fueling massive tech advances. None of this incredible growth in data, nor the billions of IoT devices available, would be possible without the enormous leaps in computing power that we have made. Between 1975 and 2015, computing power doubled at a rate of every 2 years, before slowing to the current rate of approximately every 2.5 years. But we're reaching the limits of what traditional computing power can handle. Thankfully, on the horizon, we have quantum computing, probably the most significant transformation of computing power ever. Quantum computing will see computers become millions of times faster than they are right now. Tech leaders are in a race to launch the first commercially viable quantum computer capable of solving problems that today's computer can't handle, capable even of solving problems that we can't even imagine yet. So, pretty nice mega trend. The trend number four, the incredible rise of um, the incredible rise of artificial intelligence, computers are now available to learn in much the same way as we humans do, and and this leap in AI capabilities has been made possible by the massive increases in data and computing power. Yeah, it's the incredible explosion in data that has allowed AI to advance to quickly over the last couple of years. The more data an AI system has, the quicker it can learn and more accurate it becomes. This huge step forward in AI mean computers can now undertake more and more human tasks. In fact, it's AI that allows computers to see facial recognition software, to read, analyzing social media messages, to listen, Alexa standing by to answer your every command, to speak, Alexa being able to answer you and gauge your emotions, effective computing. So moving on to trend number 5, the unstoppable freight train, that is automation. Uh, the more intelligent machines become, the more they can do for us. That means even more processes, decisions, functions, and systems can be automated and carried out by algorithms or robots. Eventually, a wide range of industries and jobs will be impacted by automation. However, for now, the first wave of jobs that machines are taking can be categorized using the four DS: dull, dirty, dangerous, and dear. This means humans will no longer be needed to do all the jobs that machines can do faster, safer, cheaper, and more accurately. Beyond the 4Ds, machines, robots, and algorithms will replace or augment many human jobs, including professional jobs in fields like law or accounting, from truck drivers to bricklayers to doctors. The list of jobs that are likely to be affected by automation is surprising. One estimate reckons that 47% of US jobs are at risk of automation. Moving on to another trend, it is the 3D printing opens up amazing opportunities. The 3D printers will be the next trend. Uh, Talking about this, related to increasing automation, the invention of 3D printing is disrupting manufacturing and other industries in many positive ways. In traditional subtractive manufacturing, others are cut or hollowed out of materials such as metal using something like a cutting tool. But in 3D printing, uh, also known as additive manufacturing, the object is created by laying down or adding layers of materials. The materials used in 3D printing can be pretty much anything: plastic, metal, concrete, liquid powder, even chocolate or human tissue. With 3D printing, far more complex shapes can be created than in traditional manufacturing, and using less material too. It also allows for a much greater customization of products without worrying about economic for sale. Uh, Moving on to another trend, we're interacting with technology in very different ways. The way we interact with technology has changed dramatically in recent years and is still changing. Thanks to smartphones and tablets, we can carry out a whole range of tasks on the move simply by touching a screen. Mobile web usage has increased to the point where in 2016 it overtook web usage through traditional computers. Google has also confirmed that searches on mobile devices now outstrip desktop searches. We are also we are also talking to our devices using voice searches via Siri and the like. Estimated suggest that by 2020, 50% of all searches will be voice searches, and around 30% will involve no screen whatsoever. As a result, all kinds of businesses are gradually integrating their products uh, with the voice integrated softwares like Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant. For example, Alexa is being integrated into BMWs from 2018. Virtual reality and augmented reality represent the next huge leap in interface innovation, transforming how business interact with customers. Okay, with the last two trends remaining, trend number 8 is blockchains and invention that could change our lives. Blockchain technology, as I've already mentioned it in disruptive technological example. Blockchain technology is a very practical solution to the problem of storing, authenticating, and protecting data. Think of a blockchain as a decentralized, extremely secure database. Or to get slightly more technical, it's a distributed peer-to-peer ledger records. While nothing is ever totally hack-proof, blockchain represents a huge leap forward compared to our current data security technology. And as unlike a centralized database, there is no single point of failure. The records in the blockchains are called blocks, and every block is connected to the previous block. Hence, block and chain. The whole chain is self-managed, which means there's no one person or organization in the charge of the entire chain. If that sounds familiar, it might be because the virtual currency Bitcoin functions on blockchain technology. Financial services, insurance, and healthcare are just some of the sectors where blockchains are likely to be heavily adopted. In fact, 90% of major European and North American banks are exploring blockchain solutions. Uh, Moving on to the last trend, platforms are the way forward for businesses. A platform is essentially a network, a digital or physical, that creates value for participants by facilitating connections and exchanges between people for services, products, or information. The platform is rarely the actual service provider. Instead, it acts as a facilitator for the crowd, making interactions possible, easy, and safe for participants. Platforms have given rise to businesses like Airbnb, Uber, Amazon, and are also the foundation of what Facebook and Twitter do. However, platforms offer growth opportunities across all kinds of businesses, industries, and sectors, not just tech companies. Even long running businesses with more traditional business models like Ford are beginning to develop platform strategies. Uh, the, this was it for the megatrend. Thank you very much.
I think it is important. I think all this discussion it points out towards how disruptive technologies or any technologies create competitive advantage with various examples. And but I believe it would be more beneficial if we could link disruptive technologies with the comparative strategies and indicate how these technologies can further help the organization to achieve them. Talking about competitive advantage, uh, I'd like to briefly touch upon Porter's three generic strategy: the cost leadership, differentiation, and focus strategy. The cost leadership, according to Baumol 2004, is largely based upon operational efficiency, which is achieved through technological innovation, technological process innovation. Cost leadership creates cost barriers, scale barriers, and expansion, thus providing the organization with market power. The key to cost leadership is achieved through speed, either speed economy or scale economy, which are obtained through process innovation. And process innovation is largely concerned with the process flow, logistics, management, etc., which reduces cost and improves quality. Baumol 2004, one significant part of process innovation is the adoption of new technologies and changes in technologies. Wang 2018, an extensive improvement in production, delivery, and others are encompassed within the technological process, like, for example, changes in equipment, production organization, or even a combination of these changes. I'd like to give an example of Atos, a telecommunication company which introduced zero email pledge between employees of different hierarchy by integrating their communicative organizational structure, which increase their communication between an organization with external factors and also between the internal departments. Leveraging the use of social metrics, Atos's zero email pledge saved 60% of employees' time, improved the productivity by 25%, and significantly reduced the cost of operation, according to McKinsey report 2018. In fact, these innovation in process further mediates cost leadership with organizational profitability. O'Sullivan and Dooley 2009. 2009. Similarly, Frowen and Hansurgens 2005 states that if an organization involves within the process innovation activities, it is highly likely to receive cost leadership, which will promulgate it towards competitive, which will establish its dominance in the respective market. Would anyone like to add on
I'd
it?
like to Yeah, I'd like to add up on what just Ranjan spoke about technology, the effects of technology. A researcher who wishes to study the effects of technology on test performance must consider not only differences in the mode of administration, but also the mode of test delivery. Example, face-to-face interviews versus remote video conferences and interviews. Either of these might affect the constructs being measured as well as assessment outcomes. Other contextual, strategic, or environmental effects may as well, as stated by Potosky 2018. Uh, Potosky also proposed four outcomes, four attributes. These are transparency, the extent to which the medium facilitates the communication exchange, social bandwidth, the capacity for data transfer, interactivity, the pace of mutual or reciprocal exchange between communicating parties, and the surveillance, the extent to which an outside party can monitor messages carried by the medium for test administration. Such specification of broad range of effects that might affect performance and technology all in all, that is in these performances, they provide a richer, fuller context embedded description of the outcomes that researchers wish to predict.
I would like to add something. Agreeing with Ranjan, inherently it is important to discuss about the adaptation of new technologies that lead to increased competitiveness, productivity, and profitability for organizations. I would like to begin with the introduction. To enjoy a lasting competitive advantage in dynamic markets, firms must nurture the ability to innovate. Jacobson 1992, Computer 1934, Computer 1942. How they do is so perplexing given the somewhat piecemeal list of factors identified as central in shaping a firm's technological competencies. These include technological opportunities, Freeman and Perez 1988, Miyazaki 1995, Tushman and Anderson 1988, commitment to research and development, Calogero and others 2004, Sakakibara and Porter 2001, coordination capabilities, Bauman and Ambrosini 2003, those and others 2000, Filatokep and others 2003, core technology, research and development work climate such as autonomy of research and development decision, Abe and Dixon 1983, Kim and Lee 1995, and the attitudes of top management team toward innovation, Miyazaki 1995. Success in today's dynamic market requires the effective use of companies' technological resources, whether embedded in products, processes, equipment, or the know-how of employees. Technological resources are of little value unless they are linked to a company's competitive strategy. Technological resources not only underlie a company's strategy, they can also guide the development of its competitive advantage. Kusanagi 1997. Successful companies recognize the importance of this link for defining and building their technological skills and capabilities. Abeti 1997, Mitchell 1990, Bowonder and Miyake 1997. Yet, as companies pursue particular technological developments, the same process creates serious organizational tensions while staying within the constraints imposed by their industry. While some of this tension is destructive, it can also create opportunities for companies to change their business definition and competitive approach and achieve considerable growth and profitability. Publishers of printed media all over the world, for example, have had to revise the traditional concept of their businesses because of the rapid dissemination of electronic media. After years of experimentation, media companies are starting to learn how to capitalize on the opportunities offered by the new technology. Understanding and using the new technology, however, has required these companies to undergo painful soul searching to redefine the nature of their businesses, re-examine their strategic missions, and reassess their strategic options. Insights from this analysis have given these companies deeper appreciation of innovative uses of the electronic media. Computer mainframe producers and pharmaceutical companies are undergoing similar transformations today. In other point, I'd like to talk about technology's contribution to productivity within an organization. It is impossible to deny the importance of technology as an element that improves a company's productivity. In highly competitive environments, managers are required to use the optimal technology for their company, Julia 1995. In order to determine which optimal technology is best, the company must study its production processes. Therefore, introducing the most appropriate technology, it should be able to reduce costs and increase quality. Garsumke and Garsumke 1989. Through technology, the company creates value. Gambardella and Giaratna 2013, as well as the capacity for development, specialization, and competitive advantage. Neil and others 2014. Therefore, technology is a key resource in maintaining the competitive level of a company. Moreover, in the case of small businesses and those linked to the land, as it is case of wineries, as in the case of wineries, they do not have the option of changing location easily, as other kinds of firms do, in order to lower unit costs. Therefore, wineries must maintain efficiency by investing in technology and improving operations. Arish and others 2000. The importance of technological resources has been linked to business performance and studied by several authors, finding a positive relationship between these two variables. Camison and Villar Lopez 2014, Welter and others 2013, Ortega 2010, and Spanos and Riocas 2001. I'd like to give an example. Technology is an important source of competitive advantage for hotels. Law and Jagaratnam 2005. Technology innovations enhance service quality, improve employee productivity, and lessen operational costs. Karadag and Dumanoglu 2009, Lam and others 2007. Specifically, front desk technology enable employees to access large amounts of customer information and integrate the information for efficient delivery of service to customers while saving both operational time and expense. Chahut 2007, Stambolis and Scanis 2003. With effective front desk technologies, hotel customers have both more timely and more effective customer service experience. Billigan and others 2011. Historically speaking, many hotels have lagged behind other service and manufacturing industries in technology application. Hotel technology has only recently been treated as a strategic decision, law and Jagaratnam 2005. However, in today's hotel business environment, the service technologies have become pervasive as a routine part of daily operations, quality services, and efficient operation. Virtually all hotel corporations require front desk employees to use a technological system that where they when they serve guests for processing check-in or check-out, assigning a room, issuing and acquiring guest information. Melian Gonzalez and Bergnan Guidumal 2017. To efficiently accomplish these tasks while simultaneously welcoming a guest, and effective technology implementation is a critical factor for the success of hotel management. Thank you.
I'd like to add on to what Anmol said and further illustrate how technology reduces cost and creates differentiation strategy. First, in the cost reduction, uh, Kelly 2012 finds that the adoption of technological means improves the rate of doing work and decreases the cost associated with it. This is highly evident through the example of automated robot waiters in restaurant. Sirkin 2015 finds that the employment of robot waiters has boosted the productivity of the restaurants by 30% and lowered the labor cost by 18%. Another example of how technology reduces the cost of operation is through economies of scope. Economies of scope. Lennon 2017 defines economies of scope as the decrease in the total average cost of a company's production when it produces large variety of goods. Technology MIGSI 2014 finds that technology introduces heightened flexibility, shorter production runs, faster responses to market demand, which helps them to achieve economies of scope and in line with cost reduction. This is the exact model in which Amazon is now operating, because we all know that Amazon is not confined to just retailing but also to software designs and even towards and even encroaching the health market. For example, CNBC 2019 speculates that Amazon is currently investing in creating an earbud which can perform mundane earbud tasks but at the same time can monitor the physical health of the owner. The third point is economies of scale, which according to Kin 2007 is the decrease in the total average cost of the company due to efficiency in production brought about by technological means. The fourth is the impact of technology in supply chain. Uh, I'd like to point out the radio frequency identification as the major impact of technology in supply chain. The RFID is specially used by organizations with complex supply chain. These have found to reduce the operational and operational time and cost of tracking, recording, controlling, etc. It is like, for example, Walmart uses an item level RFID to get an instant knowledge of the product in their shelves, to find the to know when a product needs to be dispatched, the preference of products, and also the preference of product. Similarly, Amazon's Prime Air, the drone delivery, presents the largest online retailer, a significant decrease in the cost of delivery. Deutsche Bank 2016 estimates that the integration of Prime Air in the supply chain of Amazon reduces at least 80% of their delivery charges. The fifth is the impact of technology in security, which can be viewed through an example of cosmetics maker Revlon, who cosmetics maker Revlon, whose factory in Venezuela was destroyed by destroyed in fire and caused $70 million loss, keeping aside the cost of data stored. However, due to the since Revlon had their since Revlon had backed up their most of their data in the cloud storage, there was no significant loss of data, and Revlon could easily shift the operation from Venezuela to New Jersey, according to McKinsey report. Similarly, I'd also like to discuss how these technologies can help an organization to create and sustain a differentiation strategy. Differentiation strategy involves meeting the needs and wants of buyers in the market, however, positioning the products in a very unique manner, and it is very natural for the organization to incur premium price for these differentiated products, which is usually justifiable with extra value added for the consumers. One example of the impact of technology in differentiation strategy can be of big data and advanced analytics. The concept of big data states IBM 2013 defines big data as the digital footprints left by the digital users in the internet, which can be used to predict their buying behavior. And as Niranjan said earlier, about 2.5 petabytes of as Niranjan said earlier, these data doubles in every 2 years. So when the information released by the individuals in the digital form is so large, it is obviously essential for them to get analyzed to understand them. In fact, the analysis of big data helps an organization to somewhat unlock the consumer black box, according to Kubina 2015. This is the exact model in which the Google and Facebook advertisement works, because the analysis of the big data, the data presented by the users of Facebook and Google, they leave digital traces which are then analyzed to understand their psychological buying behavior and target relevant advertisements to them. In fact, CNN 2018 finds that the analysis of big data helps an organization like Facebook and Google to generate at least 85% to 88% of their annual income. The analysis of big data thus presents an organization to understand the positioning of their products, services, forecast the consumer behavior, and develop products accordingly. One great example of big data analysis is Walmart, which has invested separately in a analytical subsidiary termed as Data Cafe, which can data cafe, which can analyze at least 2.5 petabytes of data per hour. And using these analytical tools, Walmart has differentiated their product offerings. In fact, it is also speculated that the product of the month or the toy of the month is considered by Walmart by analyzing the big data and understanding the uh, consumer behavior, and several attributes of products and services has also been modified in accordance with the preference of their customers. This has fostered Walmart's product service features, developing further product pricing strategy, understanding their consumer preference according to March 2017. Anyone would like to add on it?
Yes, I would like to add something what you just said on behalf of adoption of new technology. To begin with, I would like to say some few things on introduction. Unlike the invention of new technology, which often appears to occur as single event or jump, the diffusion of that technology usually appears as a continuous and rather slow process. Yet it is difficult rather than invention or innovation that ultimately determines the pace of economic growth and rate of change of productivity. Until many users adapt a new technology, it may contribute little to our well-being, as Nathan Ronsberg said in 1972. In the history of diffusion of many innovation, one cannot be struck by two characteristics of the diffusion process. It appearance overall slowness of the one hand and wide variation of rates acceptable in different invention in other. Thus, understanding the work of diffusion process is essential to understand how technology change actually come about and why it is slow in times. Diffusion can be seen as the accumulation or aggregate result of a series of individual calculations that weigh the incremental benefits of adapting a new technology against the cost of change, often in an environmental characterized by uncertainty as to further evolution of the technology and its benefits, by the limited information about both the benefits and cost, and even about the very existence of the technology. Although the ultimate decision is made on demand side, the benefit and cost can be influenced by decision made by suppliers of new technology. The resulting diffusion rate is then determined by summing over these individual decisions. The most important thing to observe about the kind of decision is that any point in time the choice made is not a choice between adapting and not adapting, but a choice between adapting new or deferring the new decision until later. The reason it is important to look at this decision in the better way because of the nature of the benefits and cost. By large, the benefits from adapting a new technology, as in the wireless communication examples, are followed are flow benefits which are received throughout the life of the acquired innovation. However, the costs, especially those of the non-preconscious learning type, are typically incurred at the time of adoption and cannot be recovered. There may be an ongoing fee for using some type of new technology, but typically it is much less than full initial cost. This is and the potential adapter with the fixed cost of adapting against the benefit he expects. So yeah, this is it.
Thank you, Ranjan and Babysit, for your discussion
My
on it.
pleasure, bro.
Yeah, I would like to discuss more upon competitive advantage, where we can link the technological part as well. Competitive advantage is very vital for any firm, and it can be assessed by analyzing the sources of the advantage, such as the firm's market position, Porter 1980, and resources, Barney 1991, or by measuring the outcome of competitive efforts through firm performance, that is, profitability or market share stability. While competition tends to revert corporate profitability towards the mean, Healy and others 2014, Stigler 1961, high profits can be sustained if firms have sustainable competitive advantage. In practice, the sustainability of a firm's competitive advantage or franchise can be measured by superior long-term performance. Denning and Stratopoulos 2003, Huang and others 2015, Porter 1985, Wiggins and Rafley 2002, and by using barriers to entry and other economic rent proxies, Baginski and others 1999, Cheng 2005, Dickinson and Somers 2012, 1980, Lave 1983, Competitiveness is to provide superior service than competitors or other organizations in the market, high quality and different products, and most importantly, to ensure that it is perceived. Michael Porter states that there are five factors affecting market competition and business decision, that are industry rivalry, barriers to entry, or known as threat of new entrants, bargaining power of suppliers, threat of substitute, and bargaining power of buyers. On competition analysis, Michael Porter 1985 picks up three key concepts that will increase, which is already discussed by Ranja, that is competitive advantage or competitiveness, which are cost, leadership, differentiation, and focus, Carnegie 2004. A corporate is also said to have sustainable competitive advantage when the existed or potential customers, competitors cannot duplicate or it will cost much to imitate. When following strategic resources based view, corporate resources must be valuably utilizing chances or neutralizing threats. This must be scarce, imperfect, imitable, and not biased to have equal changes for sustainable human resources. Lirisu and others 2013. The outcome of a firm's competitive advantage is more straightforward to assess than the sources of the advantage. A firm can be viewed to have a competitive advantage over its rivals when it can create more economic value and sustain competitive advantage are advantages that last a long time through the help of technology. Barney 2011. Porter 1985 defines the consequences of sustained competitive advantage with long-term profitability and with above average performance in the long run. By focusing on long-term historical superior performance, one can identify the firms that exhibit superior performance that's persisted over time. Researchers also have used time horizons ranging from few years to several business cycles to measure sustainable competitive advantage. For example, Ericsson and Knudsen 2003 and Huang and others 2015 used time horizons of 5 and 6 years to measure average long-term profitability respectively. The outcome or consequence of barriers to entry and other competitive advantage is reflected in sorry, profitability percentage and market share stability. That is Greenwald and Khan 2005. The lower competition enjoyed by firms operating within barriers to entry results in higher market stability and profitability. How well a firm has been able to defend its market share over time can be viewed as a measure of its sustainable competitive advantage and adaptation of technologies. Observing market share over time provides valuable insight on the competition for revenues within industries. Kettinger and others 1994. Capes and Porter 1978 argued that sustained market share is an indication of oligopolistic bargaining. Relatedly, the average profitability or over time is an indication of the firm's sustainable competitive advantage, reflecting both barriers to entry and other competitive advantages. Thank you.
Thank you, Anmol. Anmol and Ranjan, is there anybody?
होइन बोला बोला तिमी
Thank you, Puravi. I'd like to add on what Ranjan and Anmol talked about the adaptation of new technologies and their examples. I'd like to give more emphasis on the internal productivity of an business with the adaptation of new technology. I found an article relatable to this topic, which was written by Vitale 2019 and reviewed by Mitchell Siddle. And the name of the paper is "The Impact of Technological Change of Business Activity." It highlights the points like technology has revolutionized the way companies conduct business by enabling small business to level the playing field with larger organizations. Small businesses use an array of tech, everything from servers to mobile devices, to develop competitive advantages in the economic marketplace. Small businesses owners Small business owners should consider implementing technology in their planning process for streamlined integration and to make room for future expansion. This allows owners to create operations using the most effective technology available. So here are some of the impacts and how the adaptation of technology can increase the productivity of an organization. Uh, like Ranjan and Anmol said, by lowering the operating costs and yeah, the paper also talks about small business owners can use technology to reduce business cost. Basic enterprise software enables a firm to automate back office functions such as record keeping, accounting, and payroll. Mobile tech allows home offices and field reps to interact in real time. For example, field reps can use mobile apps to record their daily expenses as they incur them and have them sync automatically with accounting softwares back at the office. Uh, Similarly, securing sensitive information, business owners can also use technology to create secure environments for maintaining sensitive business or consumer information. Many types of business technology or software programs are user friendly and allow business owners with only minor backgrounds in information technology to make the most of their tools and features. Next one is improved communication processes. Business technology helps small businesses or the larger businesses improve their communication processes. Emails, texting, websites, and apps, for example, facilitate improved communication with consumers. Using several types of information technology communication methods enables companies to saturate the economic market with their masses. Companies may also receive more consumer feedback through these electronic communication methods, which can be later used as a plus point to improve further. So technology also improves inter-office communication as well. For example, social intranet software gives employees a centralizes portal to access and update internal documents and contracts and relay relevant data to other departments instantly. These methods also help companies reach consumers through mobile devices in a real-time format. So next one is increased employee productivity. The businesses can increase their employees' productivity through the use of technology. Computer programs and business softwares usually allow employees to process more information than manual methods. Business owners can also implement business technology to reduce the amount of human labor in business functions. This allows small business or the larger business to avoid paying labor cost along with employee benefits. Even fundamental business tech can have a major impact on employee performance. For example, by placing employee performance appraisal information in an online framework, supervisors can easily create measurable goals for the employees to reach and sustain company objectives. Business owners may also choose to expand the operations using technology rather than employees if the technology will provide better production output. It also The adaptation of technology also broaden customer bases. Technology allows businesses to reach new economic markets rather than just selling consumer goods or services in the local market. The businesses can reach regional, national, and even international markets. Retail websites are the most common way small business and the larger business sell products in several different economic markets. Websites represent a low-cost options that consumers can access 24/7 when needing to purchase goods or services. Small business owners can also use internet advertising to reach new markets and customers through carefully placed web banners or ads. Uh, the technology also helps in collaboration and outsourcing. Business technology allows companies to outsource business functions to other businesses in the national and international business environment. Outsourcing can help companies lower cost and focus on completing the business functions they do best. Technical support and customer service are two common functions companies outsource. Small business owners may consider outsourcing some operations if they do not have the proper facilities or available manpower. Outsourcing technology also allows the businesses to outsource function to least expensive areas possible, including foreign countries. To give out some of the examples of this, which Ranjan and Anmol uh, have mentioned some of the examples like Netflix online streaming. Now it is an online streaming juggernaut. Netflix started as a DVD rental home delivery service, but later moved into online streaming. And similarly, PayPal, which is a full service digital payment service, which was started in 2008, and now it is one of the major used full service digital payments around Western countries. And similarly, National Geographic, the integration it has integrated the new media technology. The yellow bordered National Geographic magazine has come a long way. Founded 128 years ago, the magazine was at risk of dying out along with some of its peers in print publication because of digitalization. Their subscriptions revenue fell from $289 million in 1999 to 211 million in 2009. And later, National Geographic successfully made the transition to digital by strategically integrating various media platforms to provide a seamless omni-channel experience of their brand. Starbucks, which has launched mobile app payments and gamification. Uh, I think this example was included by Ranjan, and yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Are we done or
Hello.
I have
you
one more
want
important
to add?
aspect. Sir. I
So,
want
Hello.
to
I think
include one thing, sir.
Sina has been
And
waiting
after
for
that,
long, I guess. Hello.
okay, Puravi. So,
Can you give a chance to Sina? Okay. You can continue, Sina.
okay, the competitive advantage occurs when an organization acquires or develops an attributes or combination of attributes that allows it to outperform its competitors. These attributes can include access to natural resources such as high-grade ores or inexpensive power or access to highly trained and skilled personal human resources. New technologies such as robotics and information technology are either to be included as a part of the product or to assist making it. Information technology has become a prominent part of the modern business world that it can also contribute to competitive advantage by outperforming competitors with regards to internet presence. Thank you.
I would like to talk about strategic lock-in. We have already discussed about technology and its impact on firms' performance and productivity and different types of technological trends. It is another approach to sustainability, whether for price-based or differentiation strategy. It is the creation of strategic lock-in. This is where an organization achieves a proprietary proprietary position in its industry, it becomes an industry standard. For example, Microsoft became an industry standard. Many argue that technically the Apple Macintosh had a better operating system, but Microsoft Windows became the industry standard by working to ensure that the architecture and the technology of which the industry was built around it, and while other business had to conform or relate to that standard in order to prosper. Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, thank you, Amo. I would like to add up about the competitive advantage. Uh, competitive advantage is what makes an
Sorry,
individual
speak
compete.
louder. Speak louder.
Okay, sir. Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, yeah. You can
Yeah.
continue.
Okay. Okay, I would like to continue about the competitive advantage. Competitive advantage is what makes an entity goods or service superior to all of customers' other choice. The term is commonly used for business. The strategy work for an organization's country or individuals in a competitive environment. To create a competitive advantage, you have got to be clear about these three determinants. And like the first was like benefits, like what is the real benefits your product provides. It must be something that your customer truly needed. It must also offers a real value to the customers. You must know your product features, its advantage, and how they benefit your customer. You must stay up to date on the new trends that affect your products. And this includes a new technology. For example, newspapers were slow to respond to the ability of free news on the internet. They thought people were willing to pay a news delivery on a piece of paper once a day. And the second is target market. A target market is like who are your customers, what are their needs. You have got to know exactly who buys from you and how you can make their life better. That's how you create demand, driver of all economic growth. Newspaper targets market strength to those are poor people who weren't comfortable getting their news online. And third one is the competition. Have you identified your real competitors? They aren't just similar companies or products. They also include anything else your customers could do to meet the needs you can fulfill. Newspaper thought their competition was other newspaper until they realized it was the internet. They did not knew how the competition with a news provider that was instant and free. And thanks so much, sir. Does anyone
I'd
else want
like
to?
to add up on markets and technology of World Bank Group. Governments and private sector around the world are actively seeking more effective ways of improving competitiveness in sectors. One of the key elements of successful growth strategies, like we all mentioned about earlier, part of the banks sorry World Bank Group's on sector competitiveness aims to create and grow competitive, constable, sustainable, and inclusive markets and industries that deliver quality jobs and economic transformation. And these are few of the results that came after adapting the markets and technology in its way for a World Bank Group. A holistic engagement in Bangladesh aims to build, strengthen, and make markets more efficient. The diagnostic phase focuses on sector prioritization, public private dialogue, value chain mapping, environmental regularity gap analysis, etc. Supported sectors include textiles, footwear, leather plastics, and light manufacturing. Sector reforms are targeted through complementary and sequenced IFC advisory work on cleaner textiles and sector competitiveness, which is of 20 million, with the World Bank lending operation on export competitiveness for jobs, which is of about approximately 100 million. In Ethiopia, the World Bank Group is bringing diagnostics, operational support, and impact evaluation capabilities to understand job creation through new digital business models. Coordinated interventions include IFC advisory services on SOE reform and telecom sector privatization, and pipeline of about 300 million World Bank lending operation aiming to increase access to affordable, high quality internet services for government, businesses, and citizens, and also to promote digital skills and entrepreneurship under a MFD approach. And lastly, in Pakistan, the World Bank Group is addressing identified constraints and supporting the implementation of Punjab growth strategy through a program for results operation focused on investment climate reform, such as subnational doing business, labor conventions, and investment promotion and spatial developments such as Punjab spatial strategy, industrial infrastructure PPPS, and cluster development. The project aims to catalyze over 3 million in new investment and has already increased the number of workers in existing industrial estates to 12,000 from a baseline of 82,000. Thank you.
So I would like to add some points like competitive advantage as we know it has changed to stay relevant in today's constantly changing competitive landscape requires the capacity to continually learn and involve and grow into a better, more valuable version of what you were yesterday. Competitive advantage today isn't a matter of lowering cost. Anybody can slash price. It's not a matter of hiring better people, although the human element is certainly a factor. It's not solely a matter of corporate responsibility either, even though purpose is important, and it's not a matter of faster time to market, despite the fact that failing fast inform sooner. No competitive advantage is a matter of adaptability. Here is why, in the context of Apple, originally a computer company, the $800 billion tech giant has adapted its focus to include self-driving cars, augmented reality, and even the payment space historically controlled by the banks. In context of Google, the company that originally started as an online search engine built Android, which now owns the majority of market share for mobile operation system. It also aided the GPS navigation and mapping industry for breakfast. It is working on internet beaming balloons as well as self-driving cars. In context of Facebook, no longer just a social networking site but a technology powerhouse intent on creating augmented reality glasses as well as ways to let you type with your brain. Thank you.
So can we conclude?
Yes, sir. I think we can conclude the discussion.
Yes, sir.
And to conclude, I'd like to point out that dynamic business environment has been brought by these disruptive technologies, and because of these technologies the market equilibrium has been destabilized. And with consistence to dynamic capabilities view, I think it is important for every organization to be wary of the changes going around them and adopt new technologies in such a way that not only promotes their competitiveness but also creates competitiveness with increasing more value for their consume consumers, since disruptive technologies are the birthplace of new corporate technological competencies, an epicenter from which generation of improvements may arise and a major source of competitiveness. Thank you.
Does anybody has to say something about the topic, or I shall start my review?
I think
As
we are
Vibhushit?
done, sir. I think we are done, I guess.
presented the arguments well.
I think that's enough.
Okay. Shall I start? Okay.
Yes, sir.
So we have a very good discussion. We started with the competitiveness, and we talk about the Porter's competitive advantage, what are the grand strategies, and also very good examples of Amazon, Walmart, for T-Model, cryptocurrencies, Skype, e-commerce, GPS, electricity, Uber, Airbnb, GoPro. So there were lots of different examples of Walmart as well. So we talk about technological changes, mega trends, and how disruptive technology were there, what were the advantages of it, and what were the shortfall, the rise in renewable energy, blockchains. We have talked about a lot of innovations, theory of dynamic capability, lean technology, technological changes, quantum computers, and different new technology like 3D printing, and others, new development in the artificial intelligence as well. And we also talked about the adaptation of new technology. The objective of today's uh, this student-led seminar was to talk about the disruptive technology and mega trends, and how these new technology are adapted to lead the increased competitiveness, productivity, and profitability. And the debate was on those things. I congratulate you for that. So it was a very good debate. Talking about the feedback of each individual. Ranjan, yes, you have a very good sources. You supported the argument, presented the theory as well as models, and have given different examples, and also set direction to the debate at some point. So that is a good thing, and you have shown a good participation. Sina, you also supported, have few examples, but your participation was very low. I suppose you will improve it from next time. Puravi, yes, examples were good, so you have to also participate a lot. Urza, I don't know. This time your participation was a bit low, but the things you have presented were good. Bivusit, you supported the arguments presented, given the examples very good, and have shown some great improvement in the participation part. Anmol, yes, you started the debate. The sources were presented, supported with very good examples, and also you allowed others to speak as well. That is very important in a debate. It's not about you speaking all the time. It's about letting others do the talking as well. Hari, yes, your connection was a bit low, but you try to improve your participation. But I want more from you. We have seen you in the receipt, so you perform very well. I am looking forward for same, Hari. Christy, are you online? Christy, if you can unmute yourself. I don't think she is online. That's why we did not hear any participation from Christy. Nirajan, yes, you have done a good analysis, supported as well, and some of the sources were good. Okay, good participation. The one thing I want to say is we are still having giving in the presentation format rather than the debate. Please let us stop it, and mm, let us stop it, and please try to make more arguments and not just read from your notes. Thank you. It was a very good virtual debate session. I hope you all have enjoyed, and you if you have something to say, you can unmute yourself. Okay. So can we call off all of them, the meeting, the debate? Can we call off the debate? You can unmute yourself.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Thank
sir.
you so much, sir. Thank
Have a
you.
great day, sir.
Thank you.
Peace
Thank
out.
you. Stay safe.
Stay safe, sir.
Yeah, please, please. Stay safe. Let's be at your
Peace out,
phone.
Stay
everybody.
inside.
Have a good day.
Like,
Peace
Bye.
out.
bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.